All right, we are approximately 2 months away from the I30N festival down in Winton in Victoria. So that means we are beginning what I would classify the second phase of this car. As you can see in its current state, these wheels are a little bit aggressive and a little bit more streety. We haven't done a whole lot of mods. It's mostly been cosmetic. So we are now entering phase 2. So phase 2 for me, the idea is to go more of a track street car sort of feel. I think with the way this car is, it's kind of pointless to have these super wide, aggressive Hot Boy wheels on it. And as I've been doing more sim racing and enjoying the motorsport aspect and driving aspect, I kind of want to go for more of that look moving forward. So I've ordered a bunch of parts. Today we're going to tackle what I think is maybe the biggest issue that I have with this car from factory. It is cosmetic, but you could also argue that it is functional. Whether this one is or not, I don't know. There is some sort of function to it, but it's gonna, I think, drastically improve the look of the car. So we've got 2 things we're installing. One of those is in this box and in this box. If you haven't already guessed, it is. If I walk around to the front of the car, my biggest issue with this, styling wise, I think the car looks very aggressive, but how do I explain it? The bottom cuts in a little bit too much. So I think we need to make this front end look a little bit more aggressive. So this splitter will help with that. And then we've got side skirt extensions as well. Now, my first issue is to make this easier. I think we're going to need the car on ramps. We can't really put a jack under the front because we're going to need to be putting a lip on. So I don't have car ramps, but we are going to start by first making, with that timber there, we're going to make our own car ramps. To give you perspective, from an auto parts store in Australia, car ramps, the cheapest I could find were $60 and they weren't in stock. Those 2 pieces of timber there, I think were $14. Okay, I am by no means claiming to be a carpenter or a builder, or any trade for that matter, but I like to try at least to figure these things out. Also, this fine establishment we are in is my good friend McGee's shed, which is conveniently located just down the road. Go and follow his YouTube channel and Instagram. He's currently building he's got an E46 project car, which is cool. With an engine swap coming, that's going to look sick. And he's also got a X3. So thank you, McGee, for letting us use all of your beautiful workshop and tools and lovely home. I got these big, thick pieces of wood. The idea is I can chop off maybe 30% of this, screw it into the top of this, and then we've made ourselves a little step that is pretty low car friendly, which should make this a little bit easier. So I'm going to start by just doing one of them, and then I'm going to use that cut to then measure the other one and just see how we go. We've got a circular saw there. This video may end once that begins because I might cut my hand off, but we will soon find out. I can't really find a pen, but I'm just going to use this. I wonder if I can make a mark. Like that. So I can give it a go, eh? Again, I'm not claiming I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just giving this a fucking go. Fuck yeah, I'm a man. Maybe. No, it didn't go the whole way through. Just got to give it a bit more, mate, you know? Mad, one down. Thanks for coming. So the idea, put that on there. Bob's your uncle, you get what I mean? All right, sweet as. That's both of those done. So now, and I need to try and find a screw, ideally that is long enough to go through both of these. There is a big amount of tools over here and screws. So a couple of these, 2 of these long screws. Try and send these through, see what happens. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Just giving it a go. All right, and just like that, we have got 2 low profile-ish car jacks. Just got this under there and this under here. Now, again, I'm not claiming to know what the fuck I'm doing or if this is even a thing. I've just seen it done before. If your car's lower, use a thinner piece of wood or thickness. I've seen people use like a 2x4 and just do 3 layers, but I'll drive it up and see if it makes a difference. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Forward slightly onto these. Onto that. Boom, how's that? Does it look all right? Am I a man is the question. I am a man. You can see we now have a decent amount of access to underneath. Now obviously normally this isn't always necessary because you could just put a jack underneath the front subframe and jack it up, but because that front lip is going to have to slide in underneath there, we need to make sure we have enough access, and we're going to have to be drilling into the bottom of the bumper to get this on. So we now should have that room. Anyway, let's get the lip out and have a look, because I actually haven't seen it in person yet. Now this lip here is from a company called Project Aero, which are an Australian company. I quite like the look of it for one, but also the durability. The durability is a big one. This car is actually factory relatively low. So, or it hangs quite low. I'm not gonna say it's a low car. It hangs quite low, and you often find yourself scraping on driveways and speed bumps and all that sort of stuff. So this is made out of a, I wanna say polyurethane material that is a bit more durable. Now, why did I go with Project Aero? Number one, there's a couple of options when it comes to the I30N'S. Pretty much everyone is going either Maxxon designs, Flow designs. That's kind of it. Flow designs is very similar to this, similar sort of material, a little bit more expensive, also Australian made, and the side skirts are actually done by them. But for me, this kind of seemed like the way to go. It's like I said, it's not nearly as common, so actually am one for that. I like to have things that are a little bit different. One of the complaints, if you're going to call it a complaint, of Flow Designs front lips is that they're too strong. I believe they are reinforced to the bumper. So there supposedly have been instances where the lip has gotten caught and actually pulled the whole front bumper off instead of the lip giving way. Now, Project Aero, their philosophy is that the lip should be strong enough and durable enough, but it should at least give way before the bumper, because if it catches the bumper, that's going to cause more damage and more expensive damage. Now, I think a lot of people would almost argue, myself included, that the Maxxon Designs lips potentially look a little bit better, but supposedly are too fragile. So they're on the other end of it, where a little bit more aggressive. They're more of that just like generic plastic fiberglassy material. I don't know exactly what they are, but they are the opposite end of the spectrum, where they are cracking with a very little impact, which I'm not about because I don't want to have to worry about it. Like I said, my goal and intention now is for the track. Eventually I'd love to lower this thing, but if you're at speed and there's a lot of flex in the suspension, I don't want to have to worry about this thing. I want it to cop it and take a beating, but know that I'm also protecting the car and providing what I would imagine is at least a little bit of an improvement in aerodynamics or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Let's get this thing unwrapped and we'll line it up and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, this looks mad. This is going to look sick on the car. There we are. Come up here. You can kind of see that sort of design. So it's relatively basic and simple, but if we put it here, boom, how good does that look? Unreal. Follows all the body lines. Looks fantastic. Now, instructions. Now, I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that this is a install guide or a tutorial, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But you may learn through my process what to do and what not to do. But who knows? There's our mounting hardware. A couple spaces in there, some nuts, bolts. All looks very nice. It's all zinc coated. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just like cars. Another thing, I believe these are all countersunk. So the bottom of this, by the time we put everything in, means that everything's going to sit flush. A big thing with splitters is if they do screw into the bumper, which most of the time they do, you've got these, the heads of the screws or bolts sitting below the splitter. Obviously, these things are going to drag. So you can imagine like constantly going over something. If this constantly drags, that being the lowest point is going to catch and maybe shear the heads off, which means if you ever do need to take it off, it's a nightmare. These will actually sit, I believe, sunk into the actual splitter. If I flip this over, we can probably see they've actually made it so that once these screw in, it's going to sit nice and flush on the bottom here. All right, so here we are. Here's the Project Aero's website, all the install instructions. Step 1 is to drive up onto a set of low profile ramps. Lucky we have those. Step 2, remove the front section of the splash tray. This will allow access to fit the washer and nuts on the back of each bolt. Remove the plastic scrape guard strip. The front lip should align with the 2 holes on each side closest to the wheel arch. You will need to remove the clips to replace the supplied Project Aero hardware. Once the 25mm hardware is loosely secured in these 4 holes with some clamps, clamp the front lip in place. It'll make drilling the remaining holes easy. Step 3 is literally just drill the holes. Step 4 is to ensure they are tight. So let's have a look. See what's under here. Yeah, so we've got a splash guard and a few clips under here, and the front bumper just connects into there. So I'm just going to end up finding a way to pull these clips out, which I know is not the most fun job on the planet. And then I'll show you what's going on. Bro, shout out to McGee. First of all, this space is mad. And he's a great friend. This space is great, but he's got everything. So we actually have got clip removal tools, which is going to make this so much easier, because removing clips, if you haven't done it before, is quite possibly the worst thing about working on cars. It's definitely up there, because if you can get them off, that's one thing. But usually they fucking break anytime you touch them. You just got to look at these fuckers and they'll break. So you're just going to get these under, pull, done. Thanks for coming. First one out. This is also already scratched to shit under here. So there's about 8 of these along here. So that allows us to get in behind this part so that we can actually install the hardware on the backside. This little like plastic trim piece, that has got 2 clips down here that need to be removed so that we can take this off. It's just this little sort of splash guard bit on the bottom. So we need to take that off, I believe, so that we can actually install the lip. Pull this out. I have no idea what this is technically there for. So as you can see on the end there, in those 2 little holes was 2 clips, and they were right near the guard liner for the wheel. It says that the lip should align with the 2 holes where that was. So we put this underneath. I need to start by putting those on very loosely, and then that way it'll hold it up enough that we can drill the holes, remaining holes for this into the bumper. This making sense to you? It's making sense to me. And I'm pretty silly when it comes to things like this. Bolts through, spacers, and nuts on the other side. So I need just those, and then they're going right down into these corners right behind the wheel arch, and they're aligning with those 2 little holes on each end. Okay, so I'm gonna start by putting 2 in this side. It's flexible enough that I don't think it's gonna be an issue if it's sort of falling on the ground, and then I'm gonna do the other side, and I might just use a jack to help it stay up in the middle. So I'm actually going to put this underneath, roughly in the center. So if I can kind of get this like loosely in the right spot under the jack, it's going to make it a little bit easier to balance. Now I can kind of push this around to line it up. All right, that's these 2 on this side very loosely in. So that's holding this side up. It's going to jump over into the other side, and then we'll get to screwing the holes. We're getting there. So if you're playing along at home, make sure you have got some sort of driver for an Allen key, because that would suck without having to use an actual Allen key. And then make sure you have got a 10mm spanner. Is this a spanner? I think it's a spanner. Just to get in behind the bolt to hold it still while you tighten those in. So on each corner there is 2 bolts. So it goes bolt through, washer, and then a nut on top. And then you got to loosely tighten those. If you tighten it enough, it like just keeps it tucked to the bumper. And then I've still got the jack there just holding the center up. So now that that's on, I can go through and drill in the holes for the actual bolts to go through. I don't know how to feel about drilling into my car, but here we are. That was easy. Okay, so there's 4 along the very front, and there's another 2 on either side of that. From what I can gather, the first 4 have got a spacer, sorry. So they're the front 4, from what I can gather. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm gonna assume it means. God, this shit can be so fucking fiddly. I got one in. So it turns out that one needed the shorter bolt. So I'm assuming that means the other ones are the longer ones with the spacer. So we'll find out with this one that this feels as though it's getting stuck on something and it's a long bolt. All right, I'm looking real disheveled, but the lip is on. I don't know if I read the instructions wrong or not, but there was some of I thought it said to put the longer ones in the front four, but they don't actually fit the whole way through. So I had to actually swap a couple of screws from the first ones that I originally put in because they can take the full length ones. But regardless, it's on. I just got to go around and tighten it up, and then we're gonna take it off and have a look at what it looks like. But it looks heaps better. And then we got to put all the clips back in and put the guards back on. The lip is on. All the clips are back in. The trays and everything, they're all back in and on. So now we can move on to the side skirts. The side skirt extensions. So I'm hoping this is a little bit easier. That wasn't necessarily hard. It was just time consuming, a little bit fiddly. These, I'm pretty sure I just got to put it in. There's a template that shows me exactly where to drill. And then I just have to they give me like riv nuts to put in. So hopefully these aren't too hard. I'm actually gonna leave it on these stands until those are on, and then take it off, and then at least everything will be done at the same time. But I think it's just gonna be a little bit easier if I leave them on there. So I'm gonna get those and unbox them, and I'll show you what they look like. But this is looking sick so far. Now these are from Flow Designs. So if you remember me earlier talking about the lip options for the I30N hatches, the probably most common one that people do that I see is the Flow Designs kit and the Flow Designs lip. Their stuff is also unreal, great quality. They are Australian made, which is a massive plus. So they're pretty much the exact same design as the Project Aero ones. These are a gloss black, as you can see, bang, which I thought would tie in well, seeing as though the stock side skirts are like a matte black. I thought the gloss would look really cool. I actually got these discounted because they were having a sale. So I thought they look great quality, look very similar, and they'll actually tie in quite nicely already with this, the splitter. Even though they're a different brand, I think that this will actually work quite well. As you can see, pretty much the same sort of design, but very, very well made. So yeah, very happy. These come with a fitting kit. So again, all the hardware comes with these, and it actually comes with this template. So there's a point in the car I put that up against, and then it gives me exactly where to drill the pilot holes and everything for the splitters, which is great. So got instructions, stickers, air freshener, warranty cards. I think these got 10 years warranty or lifetime warranty or something, which is unreal. 10-year warranty. Then we got all our hardware and a jack nut tool. So for step one, we need to align the drilling template with the bottom of the OEM side skirt. Use an 8mm pilot hole before resizing to an 11mm drill bit to drill the holes marked. So I'm going to start by doing that. I believe that you use that template at the front of the car, which we'll have a look at. This cutout here, there's a cutout underneath the car that lines up with perfectly. Line that up. Make sure it's all butted up everywhere. And then I'm going to mark. Now there is a hole there. While that's there, I'm going to grab this. Yeah, so I was going to leave it on, but to actually drill the hole, I don't have enough room to get the drill bit in underneath. So we're going to come off and then jack it up and then drill the hole in. But we're going to see if the splitter actually catches and also see what it looks like when it's on the ground. Level 1. Just, yeah? Oh, we got plenty of room. That's not that much lower, but it looks heaps lower. That's mad. Hello, puppy. Yeah, that looks sick. All right, let's jack this up and see how this goes. Now, question is, will the jack be in the way? No, it will not. Another hole in the car. And while it's up, I need to drill that out to 11 mil. The 8 mil is just the pilot hole. So while I'm up on this side, before I drop it back down, I'm just going to do that. All right. It's been a while. I look ridiculous. Sun's going down. I'm going to leave those side skirts for today because the jack nuts are driving me insane, to put it lightly. And when I looked at the instructions, I think I have to do that another 16 times. All right, I'm back at it. This is the next day, and I'm back for the side skirts. It's number one, the jack nut tool that comes with the Flow Designs kit, which is this thing. This is literally just a piece of plastic. You're supposed to put the jack nut on one side, screw it through, and then tighten up the screw through that tool to compress the jack nut. Now, in the install video, he's using an actual tool like this one. Hello, Mr. McGee. He's here. He's using a tool like this, which they sell, but they don't include in the damn kit because obviously they can sell you that as an extra thing. Now, the reason that jack nuts are a thing, which are these, is because you can't get in behind the stock skirt. So you need to insert one of these so you can screw into it. This tool I didn't have yesterday, but I got on Amazon for, I think, 30 bucks. And it pretty much just allows you to compress it in. And I've done so far 6 in about 2 minutes.
Yesterday you took 2 hours to do.
Yesterday I did 1.5, and that took a couple hours. So if this is something that you're going to do, make sure you get one of these tools first, because the thing that they give you is a nightmare. All right, so I go jack nut, screw this in so that it screws through to the other side a little bit. Gun, load this puppy in, find the hole. Takes a little bit of force to get it through. And then we squeeze, and then another big squeeze again to compress it. Pull that out. That comes out. Simple as that. I'm not even going to bother showing you how the tool works because it's pointless, but buy one of these. All right, it's time to screw this bad boy on and see if I've actually got my holes correct. Front and back are in, so now I can just go screw and wash on and loosely get all these in, and then I can come through and tighten them up. So put the front and the back in, the front with the template, screw that in first, then do this very back one so you can actually butt it up and then put the hole in. So just mark the hole, take this off again, drill that out, put them both, the front and the back, on. I supported the middle with a jack just because I didn't have anyone here with me. And then mark each individual hole, drill them all out to 8 mil, then 11 mil, then the jack nut, then screw them in. So this side's done. Obviously the other side's gonna be the same, so I'm just gonna smash that out quickly.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So as you can see, it looks way more aggressive. It's completely changed the look of this car. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Keep an eye out for the next video. I've got probably about 5 different parts sitting in that car waiting for an install. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.